Hi everyone, it's Denise Salcedo. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling, the NXT edition. That is right, we're going to be talking about the black and gold brand here today. It is May 25th, and I can't wait to chat NXT with all of you here today. Before I get started, I guess I'll kind of give my overall thoughts on what I thought about the show as a whole. To be honest, I thought it was okay. I thought it was a pleasant show to watch. There were some really good moments, which we'll get into here later today. I won't go as far as to say it blew me out of the water this week, but overall, it was still a decent and exciting show to watch. Now, again, before we jump into NXT, I do want to remind each and every single one of you guys that this week is going to be a little bit different here than what you guys are used to. So as you guys know, I normally go live on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays talking about NXT, AEW Dynamite, and Friday night Smackdown. However, because AEW Dynamite is being preempted this week due to the NBA, I am going to be covering both Smackdown and AEW Dynamite at the same time on Friday, which is going to be a little bit hectic. I got to be honest, I'm not looking forward to covering both shows at the exact same time because we all know how that goes, but it is going to be pretty exciting, especially since I've never done Smackdown and AEW on the same night. I've done AEW and NXT on the same night, but never SmackDown and AEW on the same night. So it should be a really, really good time, hopefully. Guys, as we go through this show, please make sure to share your thoughts, your comments, your questions, whatever they may be in the chat if you are watching live, and I will be reading comments throughout the show. You are also more than welcome to send in a super chat at any point throughout this show. If you do send in a super chat, just know that F4W Online does allow me to keep any and all the money that I make from the super chat. So they are very much appreciated here on this stream. All right, guys, let's kick things off. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to kick things off with a comment from Brandon who says, YouTube dudes and dudettes assemble. Let's hope YouTube behaves today. I hope YouTube behaves as well here today. And I actually forgot that I was calling everybody YouTube dudes and dudettes, but here we go. Let's jump into NXT, everyone, because we kind of got a lot to talk about. So, wow. Okay. Opening things up, we had Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Dakota and Raquel. This was a match that was already announced a week in advance, so we already knew going into this that we were going to be seeing this match. This is, I believe, the second time that we've seen them wrestle so far this year, because they did wrestle like a couple weeks ago against each other. But for the most part, there's been enough of a gap to actually talk about this match. So here we go. Shotzi and Dakota kicked off this match, and quickly Shotzi tagged in Ember in this. Ember, and I just got to say, Ember here, she came in with her battery fully charged, fully loaded. Girl was moving at 100%. She came in here like a firecracker. If anybody in this match, aside from Raquel and the post-match action that we saw in this match, anybody that actually really, really got over, in my opinion, was definitely Ember Moon. Ember Moon came in here and she was skyrocket hot, man. Throughout the entire match, I was enthralled in everything that she was doing. That afterwards, it left me wanting to see Raquel versus Ember Moon. Like, I need to get a one-on-one program, a legit one-on-one program between Raquel and Ember Moon, because if they do, I know it's going to be badass. So, to be honest, guys, all I have to say about this match, other than Shotzi and Ember really just getting the groove of being a team together, they really got it down as a tag team now. This was an okay match. I didn't feel like it was anything that we haven't seen before. We've seen obviously different variations of this match. To be honest, it was nothing out of the ordinary where I felt like, oh my God, I need to brag about this match. I didn't feel that way about this one. But the finish, we saw Ember hit Raquel with an eclipse, and then Raquel ends up rolling out of the ring, and Dakota ends up taking the pin here. Ember Moon, again, was red hot throughout this match, but post-match, we saw Raquel and Dakota both attack Shotzi and Ember. One of my favorite parts of the night was actually Raquel shoving Shotzi's body onto the plexiglass and making her look like she was a rag doll. Thought that was a pretty awesome moment to make Raquel look pretty powerful, so I really like that. But in terms of the women's tag team division, and I want to get all your thoughts on this, but as you all know, we really didn't need the NXT tag team championship bouts here for the women. Right from the start, we were like, okay, we really don't need it. And ever since then, I do feel like the division has been drying up just a little bit more, because I kind of went in and kind of looked at some of the matches that Ember and Shotzi have been having. And turns out that this year, since they started tagging together, they've only faced 4 different sets of teams. So get this. They've only worked several matches with, of course, Candice and Indi, as you guys all remember, because we saw a million of those matches. Dakota and Raquel, which we've had a few, not as many as Candice and Indi, but still a few. And then they had a match with Marina Shafir and Zoe Stark, and then one with Aaliyah and Mercedes. But for the most part, all of their matches were with Candice and Indi. So they really, really need to spice things up when it comes to the women's tag team division on NXT. And I know I sound like a broken record, because every time I talk about, like, whether it be Raw or SmackDown, I'm always talking about the fact that they can always level up the women's division. But right now with this match, it just really screams. It was just so obvious that, again, they really do need to spice up the tag team division on NXT. So what did you guys think of this match? How are you guys feeling about Shotzi and Ember? Let's go ahead and see what you guys are saying here. All righty. This is a match from, a comment from Elliot Fletcher, who says, Raquel and Ember had a match in December. It was a great match. I want to see it again. See, good thing that I don't remember the match, but they might have just had the match, but I actually want to see like an entire program with them. I think that would be cool. But I don't even remember the match, so I guess that's a good thing there. This is a comment from Patrick, who says, happy to see Shotzi and Ember get that clean win. It really helps to legitimize them as a top tag team. I feel like they've been legitimized already as a top tag team. So I would say that they're pretty well off on that end. We have a comment from Alex Aguilera, who says, I'll never get tired of heels forcing babyfaces to watch as their partners get annihilated. It's an ancient trope that still works perfectly in terms of getting heat. We have a comment from Cyclops is better than Wolverine that says, Ember and Shotzi is cool and all, but I want different tag teams fighting for the bout. We're going in circles. Yes, that is exactly what I was saying as of this point. It sucks because it doesn't matter if they have a good match at this point. I mean, obviously it does matter, okay? Don't get me wrong. But when you see the same things over and over, or pretty much the same people over and over working together in these same matches, you start to just not care. And that's been a major theme of what we've been seeing, especially in the Raw women's division. We've been seeing that there, and even to some degree, the SmackDown women's division. But now it's starting to become a little bit like that in the tag team division for the women. I wouldn't say so much for the non-tag team title picture, the singles picture for the women. I wouldn't necessarily say that, because we are getting lots of different matchups on that end. But when it comes to the tag team division for the women on NXT, I will go as far to say that they really need to switch it up, really need to make things a lot more exciting there. But hey, we got our first super chat of the day. Shout out to Sexy Pheasant, who says, your oh baby joke got admin fired. Feel guilty. All right, first of all, the oh baby joke is still pretty darn hilarious. I was still laughing about that even today. I do not laugh, obviously, about anybody losing their job whatsoever. Okay, that was all on them, the company, and him. Oh baby to me is still pretty darn hilarious. And you know what? I'm looking at the bright side. The bright side is we got the oh baby was born. So shout out to Sexy Pheasant for sending in this super chat. But now I don't feel guilty. I didn't do anything. All right. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Okay, this is a comment from Joseph, who says, the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships getting created felt like Triple H and the staff pissed after 3 attempts. They couldn't bring the titles down to NXT. Now we are running in circles. And for a long time, or not for a long time, but for a moment there, I think we all kind of felt like, okay, they're listening to the fans. They really are going to take the titles off of Nia and Shayna and give them to Dakota and Raquel. I think for a moment we all sort of believed that it was actually going to happen because that did seem like a better idea. You already have the women's tag team titles. Okay, cool. So let it float between all brands, not just Raw and SmackDown. But now that they made the NXT tag team titles, I still felt maybe there'd be a chance, especially considering how many women they have and the fact that they just signed like they just had their largest class of female wrestlers signed onto their developmental. So I started thinking, okay, good. Like there's going to be some, opportunity here, but it doesn't feel like it as of this moment. I do really think that, again, like I said, spice it up, baby. All right. Jake, Joe, I'm not even going to circle back to the admin thing anymore, guys. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? What can you do? All right, this is a comment from Brandon who says, so Ember and Shotzi win but get attacked by Raquel and Dakota after the match. So are they going to wrestle again? Doesn't seem to make sense to have a post-match attack. Well, look, I will say this. I love the post-match attack from Raquel, especially because she looked like a beast killing Shotzi there. I feel like we might see a rematch, but I kind of hope instead maybe they break it up and do some singles matches. Hopefully we get that. Hopefully they're getting us towards Raquel versus Ember. That would be nice. Hopefully they get us more leaning towards that direction. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to Wrestling Gamer who says, hi Denise, don't remember if you covered this already, but Eva Marie's return, yay or nay? Okay, so I talked about this on the Raw post show that I do on Fightful, and I'll kind of give my quick thoughts on this as, since you send in a super chat. So in terms of Eva Marie's return, good for her. Excited to see her come back and, do this resurgence on her wrestling career. Am I necessarily crazy about it? Probably not, just because I feel like given her last run, I do feel like I've seen all that she had in the ring. Now, granted, things may have changed, so we'll see if that improves. But for the most part, like I kind of feel like, okay, seen it, been there, done that. And then when it comes to the actual character, I don't feel like it's a babyface character. I thought it was going to be a heel character. Her coming in as this like entrepreneur. For some reason, I thought it was going to be like a heel character, but it feels more like a babyface character now, especially with the verbiage that they have her use in her vignettes. Am I a fan of it as of right now? Not really. I'm not really that big of a fan of it, but we'll see. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt though, because like I said, they need to freshen things up with the women's division and how if it's gonna be this, I might as well take this over doing absolutely nothing and just continue to see Nia and Shayna in these random matches and, Alexa Bliss and Lily. So I'll take it for what it is. But thank you so much to Wrestling Gamer for sending in the super chat. We have another one from Sexy Pheasant who says, I was joking. Don't get mad at me. I'm just a bird. I was not mad at you, by the way, for that, for the super chat. If I came across as mad, I was not mad whatsoever. I sensed the joke, so maybe I was not mad. But thank you so much to Sexy Pheasant for sending in the super chat as well. Alrighty, let's see what else we got here, guys. I'm trying to point out some of your guys' comments as we go through them here. Again, you know what? I will make a note of this also because Alyssa Stansbury sends in a comment about Alexa Bliss's pig, Larry Steve. And yeah, I saw that today. And I felt so bad for her. Oh my God. Like everybody knows about Alexa and her pig. And we've all seen the pictures on social media. And when I saw the black and white image, for a second, I thought it was going to be something else. And then something told me like, Denise, go back, like scroll back up and read that. And then I read it and I just thought, no, like, oh my God. Like, I feel really bad. I haven't had a pet in years, but I did have a couple of pets back in the day. And I do remember being really sad losing one of my dogs. So I know what it feels like when you like lose an animal, I didn't even have my dog for that long. So it's like, I can't even imagine what Alexa Bliss is going through with all of that. So I won't even pretend like I know because I don't think I do. We have a funny joke. Moving on. This is from Brandon who says, Nia, Shayna, Alexa, and Lily have made us tolerable of Eva Marie. Oh, yeah. Oh. All All right, guys, let's move on. Like I said, oh, my hair is a mess. All right, ignore this, guys. It gets really, really hot in here with like 1 million lights. But let's move on because after this, we had what was probably my favorite match of the night. Actually, it was my favorite match of the night. And that's saying a lot because we had a pretty cool main event tonight. But my favorite match from today's NXT was definitely Pete Dunne versus Bobby Fish. And I don't think I was expecting it for some reason, but this definitely ended up being my match of the night. So this is Bobby Fish's first match this year. As you guys know, he suffered an injury at War Games with his tricep, so he's been out for a while. He came back a couple of weeks ago, but this is his official first match back. So they kicked us off. They did a lot of mat work. Dunne worked Bobby Fish's leg at the top of the match. Fish worked the left arm of Dunne at the top of this match. And what I really did like, though, is that even though commentary was telling the story that, hey, Bobby Fish has been gone, he may be a little bit rusty and all of that. So we all were expecting and we all knew that Pete Dunne was going to win this match. But what I personally enjoyed from it is that they didn't just have Pete Dunne dominate this entire match and make Bobby Fish look like, oh, he's, a fish out of water and doesn't know what he's doing. I like the fact that they had a lot of back and forths from the very beginning. It didn't feel like Pete Dunne always had the best of Bobby Fish throughout this match, and I think that's what made me enjoy it that much more. Yeah, he's obviously not, this is his first match back, so he's still getting, back into the groove of things, but it didn't come across so much that you couldn't enjoy the match, and I definitely enjoyed this match. So I'm glad they didn't have Dunne dominate the entire way. When we came back from commercial break, we had Dunne lock up Fish's ankles, and literally as he's like locking them up, he starts slapping him on his back, and I really, really love that spot. Dunne then does double knees onto Fish's fingers, and that sounds funny, Fish's fingers, onto Fish's fingers, and that spot was pretty brutal as well. I liked all of this, and one of the major things that I will have to say before I continue on with the rest of the match is that in this match, they did a phenomenal job of reintroducing Bobby Fish, his in-ring work to the NXT audience. Like, if there's a viewer who's like, you know what, I forgot what Bobby Fish can do, this was definitely a reminder of what Bobby Fish can do. And even for whatever new viewers there are out there, this was like a, hey, look at Bobby Fish, look at what he can do, you should be a fan of this guy. So I thought they did a really good job at that. Pete Dunne ended up getting the win. Post-match, Oney Lorcan furthers the attack by actually kind of like locking Bobby Fish using the apron and like lifting it up so that it kind of holds his arm in place. And then he steps on his right arm with his foot and just like stretches it out while also applying all of this pressure with his foot. And then he also puts another foot on his chest. And it's actually a really brutal spot that I very much enjoyed. So top to bottom, I was a fan of everything that they did in this segment. So thumbs up NXT on this one. What did you guys think of Bobby Fish's in-ring return? What did you think of this match? Did you love it as much as I did? Did I overhype it? What do you all think? Let's see what else we got here. Okay, we have a comment from Pelmy Wrestling who says, I'm still not sure how far Bobby Fish can go as a single star, but he really showed there is some potential on a singles push. I feel like you can say that he's that guy that has sort of been in the shadow of everybody else. But if he's ever going to get an opportunity to break out, I think this is definitely it, especially right now that it feels like there's this opening for somebody to just, really grab a hold and grab a moment to themselves. I think right now, if given the proper opportunity, this can definitely be it. Joseph Boza says, I could see Bobby finding a partner and challenging Oney and Pete to a match at In Your House too. I could probably see that as well too. And then let's see what else we got here, guys. this is a comment from the Raging Archer HD who says, a big difference between WWE and AEW is the post-match. Bobby Fish has no friends to save him versus the Dark Order and another team running. You know what? Yes, but there was another segment on today's NXT show where they actually did something not totally different, but different for them. And I'll get into that once we actually get to that segment. But there was one moment that I really, really enjoyed here. Patrick asks, where was Cool Kyle? Bobby helped him after he was getting beat down, but Kyle didn't help Bobby. I know they are going their own way, but Kyle owed him one after Bobby helped him. Dude, yeah, I have to agree with that. A good comment here by Patrick on this one as well. All right, guys, and we'll go ahead and move on. But once again, guys, if you have a brilliant comment, question, or statement, and you're like, I really need Denise to see this, you can go ahead and send it in a super chat. Once again, I do get to keep whatever money I make from the YouTube super chats. Okay, let's go ahead. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. We got somebody that didn't like this match. Oh, wait. No, he's talking about the main event. All right, well, once we get to the main event, William Brown, if you're there, you can send in your thoughts once again for the main event, but we will talk about that once we get there. And we are going through the show chronological order for those of you guys who may be wondering. We have a comment from Aaron who says, this was a great match. Definitely need to see more of him against others and get used to Bobby as a singles competitor. Yep, hands down. Fully agree with this statement. And Sam3 has a response to Patrick because Patrick was wondering, where the hell is Cool Kyle? Well, Sam3 says Cool Kyle was shopping. Hell, maybe he was getting that Cool Kyle clothes. Alrighty, guys, let's move on. So we had a quick segment with Hit Row. Hit Row has been pretty awesome. You know, we had their introduction to Hit Row like 2 weeks ago. They had a match last week, which was cool. And then today they just did like this backstage promo. But I'm going to be real with you guys, okay? I'm going to be super real with you guys. As much as I love like these raps and like these funny lines, it comes across as too like Dr. Seuss. And by that, I mean, when you're getting Max Caster dropping these lines about oral sessions and Dark Side of the Ring and all of these random lines that he's been having, I'm sorry, but I do not want the PG version of that. Like, you got to drop me some lines here where I'm actually going to pop and I'm going to react. So for me, these raps, they feel too PG, too Dr. Seuss. So I'm sorry. I want something a little edgy, especially right now with what Max Caster is doing when he does his lines. And I know it's hard to like, I know I shouldn't be comparing because it's two totally different things, but I'm sorry. But in order to get a pop out of me, you got to really get a pop out of me. So that is how I personally feel about that. So let's move on. Actually, before we move on to the okay, so before we move on to the next segment here, I do want to give you guys another reminder because I want to make sure you guys know when I'm covering AEW and when I'm covering Smackdown. So friendly reminder that this Wednesday, AEW is being preempted because of the NBA. So they are going to be coming on instead on Friday. So what that means is that this Friday, not only will I be covering Smackdown like I normally do, but I will also be covering AEW Dynamite. So I'll be watching Smackdown first, AEW Dynamite right after that. And then after AEW Dynamite is over, I will be coming on here to do the Friday stream. So I will be coming on later than I normally do. So it will be 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, midnight Eastern Time. So if you're in the East Coast, I'm sorry. It will be late night with Denise, but it should be a fun show, especially because we'll have both Smackdown and AEW Dynamite to talk about. And it's also going to be the AEW Dynamite Go Home show to Double or Nothing, which I will be at, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait. I will be at AEW Double or Nothing this weekend. If you are going to be there, if anybody here is listening that is going to actually be at the event, and if you see me, feel free to say hello. I will also be doing the media scrum, so that should be really fun. I'm very excited. Make sure to keep up with me about and follow along with my AEW Double or Nothing adventures on Twitter or something, because I will be posting about all of that there. Alrighty, guys. Also, this is a comment from Joseph, who also points out that next week too, AEW is also going to be preempted. So this is not just going to be a 1 week thing, but next week as well will also be a SmackDown and AEW. So the next 2 weeks are going to be a little funky, but whatever, we'll get through it. Here we go, guys. And let's do this. So, we had a match between Mercedes Martinez versus Zeta Ramirez. This is Mercedes Martinez's first match after her loss to Raquel. And it was a fine match. It was really quick. What I do have to say, though, is that I really like Zeta. I've liked her so far. I like the athletic ability that we've been seeing from her in the ring. She's very impressive in terms of the types of things that she can do in there. So I'm very fond of that. Obviously, right now, she's still trying to get, her footing in the ring in terms of getting more comfortable, building that confidence, and just all of that stuff. She still is a little green, so you still can see that as of right now, which is why I necessarily haven't been like, woo, Zeta Ramirez just yet. But I do see a lot of potential in her as of right now. But obviously, she's still missing a little something. She's still getting there. But Mercedes Martinez ended up winning this match with an air raid crash post-match, though. So we all now know what Mercedes Martinez is moving on to from this program with Raquel. She's actually moving into a program with Xia Li because the lights go down, the smoke arises, and I don't even know what the old woman's name is, but she comes up on the screen, and then she suddenly has that black mark on her hands. And so now, they're building something towards Mercedes Martinez and Xia Li, which I'm totally cool with. I am totally 100% cool with all of that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. And, okay, here we go. We got some comments on this. People are celebrating that Xia Li is back. Pomi says Mercedes Martinez's short promo with her reaction to losing a title match was 100 times better than Drew McIntyre's on Raw. And Cyclops points out that he hates the magic stuff on Raw, but loves it on NXT. I'm so intrigued by Xia Li. Okay, I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not a fan of the Xia Li stuff. I've never really been a fan of the supernatural stuff anywhere, really. And the thing about when this whole supernatural stuff started with Xia Li, that was when I was covering both AEW and NXT at the exact same time. And to be honest, that was my one NXT segment where I would skip. I would be like, nah, I don't even care. I'm not even watching that. I'm sorry, but that is I'm not really a fan of it. So I think now that I'm just watching NXT alone as a whole, I'm like, all right, I got to get reacquainted with everything that Xia Li has been doing with this. So for me, it's a whole different process than maybe some of the people here who've actually liked it. However, I have heard several people tell me that they like everything that Xia Li has been doing with Boa and all of that stuff. So I'm obviously probably in the wrong here, but it's just something that never really intrigued me from day one. So I kind of already had it out the door for me. Master Point says, oh, come on. Katie Vick set the WWE supernatural standard. LOL. Dear Lord, do not remind me about Katie Vick. Sam 3 says, magic can work, just don't make it childish. By the way, the whole Katie Vick thing, I was a lot younger when that happened. I didn't even really understand what I was watching until years later when everybody was talking about it. And then I was like, yeah, but I was a kid, so I didn't really understand what I was seeing. But I get it now. But there you go. I'm glad I didn't get it as a kid. I think I would have been more confused than I already was. Okay, let's move on, guys. Alrighty, so after this, we had an okay segment. Actually, no, it was a little bit better than okay. We had Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase in the $1 Million Face-Off. So Cameron comes out, he says 2 words, bam, Ted DiBiase comes out. Cameron then starts talking about how he literally pulls at your heartstrings here, ladies and gentlemen. I was sympathizing with Cameron Grimes. Oh, I felt so bad for him because he starts telling Ted DiBiase, he starts saying, hey, I don't understand why you're doing this to me. You know, I've never been rich. This is my first time being rich. I'm really just trying to enjoy myself. And I don't understand why you've been doing this stuff to me, all of the things that we've been seeing in the vignettes. And I'm thinking, as at this part of the promo, I'm thinking, you know what? Let Cameron Grimes enjoy his money. He's never been rich. And he seriously got all of my sympathy in this moment. And then he continues by then saying, completely turning against us here, and then says that he learned a lot from Ted because he learned how to treat people like shit with money. And then you're just like, oh, I don't know how else to say that. I love Cameron Grimes and I love everything Cameron Grimes does. Like, he is so hilarious. This was probably one of my favorite things that he has done because so quickly he made you sympathize with him. And then right afterwards, you're like, darn it, Cameron Grimes got us again. Like, he don't really give a damn. So I really like that line. Then Ted DiBiase comes in like Danny Tanner about to give a little speech here. And he starts telling Cameron Grimes that it's not about the money, that it's about what he does in the ring, and says he's lost focus. And he really just sounds like a dad at this moment. LA Knight comes out, he interrupts, and basically he starts saying that he wants Ted DiBiase to pick him as a protege. Cameron Grimes obviously does not like this whatsoever. Ted DiBiase starts putting over LA Knight, and then Cameron Grimes snaps. He doesn't like this either. And my favorite part too was when LA Knight came out. Cameron Grimes tells him, like, dude, this is a conversation between us millionaires, not us, not you, who just has nickel and dimes. I thought that was pretty hilarious. Says he's gonna kick his ass to the moon. He tells that to LA Knight, and then LA Knight ends up taking out Cameron Grimes, and then Ted DiBiase leans over his head and basically leans over his body and says, kid, you're just never gonna get it. So that was the $1 million face-off, which, to be honest, kind of really didn't make that much sense. But now at least looks like we are heading into a program here with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes, which I'm not completely opposed of just because Cameron Grimes is so bloody hilarious. But in terms of how they used Ted DiBiase in all of this, I do think it was interesting. And I'm still curious as to, like, are they going to be fighting for Ted DiBiase to be like, who's protege? Is Ted DiBiase kind of already, is LA Knight already Ted DiBiase's protege? I don't know. I was a little confused with how this all ended, especially when he said, kid, you're just never going to get it. I really wasn't sure where he was going with this. So everything leading up to the ending of this kind of was good. But the ending was kind of left me with a couple of question marks. So what did you guys all think of this? How do you like the direction that we are heading in with Cameron Grimes, Ted DiBiase, and LA Knight? We have a super chat. Thank you so much to John Cubs. He says, I hope Ted DiBiase can get a push to LA Knight. And I think a match that brings back the $1 million belt. Love watching Cameron Grimes. Dude, and see, that's the thing, though, is that LA Knight, the one thing that he has really going for him are his mic skills. So it's not like he really needs Ted DiBiase in terms of, like, he can get himself over in terms of his speaking skills. He's good on that end. It's just more of LA Knight is built more for the main roster. I don't really see him fitting in that well on NXT. So I think that's more of my thing with LA Knight. I don't really see him fitting in as of this moment. I still definitely see him going more towards and you know what's weird too? So when LA Knight came out, I almost forgot that he was on NXT because we hadn't seen him in a second. So I was even like, oh, here we go, LA Knight. I kind of forgot about him. But there you go. Those are some quick thoughts there. What did you guys, let's get some more comments here about, this is a comment from Master Sidearms who says, Denise never had a basketball kicked out from under them as a child trying to win $100 from the $1 Million Man. RVD is still traumatized to this day. Cameron Munford says, during this segment, I was thinking about how the $1 Million bout was going to be reintroduced in NXT. We might be seeing LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes for that belt. Your thoughts? I mean, I wouldn't mind it. If there's going to be a payoff to this, it might as well be that. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to go through some more of your comments. This one's from Amanda Rodriguez, who says, I love when Cameron goes, Ted DiBiase, and freaking out like a maniac. BTW, sorry, that was my impression of Cameron Grimes. I understand that it was terrible, but what can you do? That was my impression. And let's see what else we got here. Okay, this one's from Chris Cage 2X, who says, the segment went nowhere. Why did LA Knight had to interfere in this $1 Million face-off? It made Trevor Lee, Cameron Grimes look crazy. Well, Cameron Grimes technically is crazy. I mean, if we've seen anything from Cameron Grimes, is that he's always losing his cool, he's always losing his shit, can never get it together. His life is always kind of a disaster. Even when it's all going good and he's got money, it always just ends up going bad, right? But in terms of it going, it doesn't make sense for LA Knight to necessarily come out into this segment. That was kind of out of nowhere, but at least now it's leading somewhere. So I guess it did have it. I wouldn't say it went nowhere. I actually do think it went somewhere, but the whole somewhere came out of nowhere. If that makes any sense at all. Kieran says both LA Knight and Grimes are good on the mic, not needing a manager. Yeah, I agree with this 100%. Alrighty, and lastly, we're going to go ahead and move on here. All right, cool. So let's move on. After this, we had a segment where Indi Hartwell is looking for Dexter Lumis. As you guys all know, last week, she was in a spa with Candace, and they were both talking smack about Dexter Lumis, calling him a loser, not realizing that Dexter Lumis was kind of being a creepy stalker and like rubbing her temples as she was getting this massage, but she couldn't see him because she had fruit or vegetables in her eyes, so she couldn't see what was happening here. So Dexter Lumis's poor little heart broke. So she then realizes that Candace was the one who basically sent the flowers to Ember and Shotzi, which she thought Dexter did, so she thought he was being more of a playboy. Well, it turns out that it was Candace. Well, fast forward to today, she's looking for him, and I think it was Jake Maverick who basically told her, I think I saw him in that room. So Indi Hartwell goes into this room, and this room is essentially covered with all of these drawings that Dexter Lumis did, and this was WWE The Precious Moment edition, and they basically had all of these drawings of Dexter Lumis's heart being broken. What he recreated a drawing of him essentially hearing Indi Hartwell call him a loser. He has a knife stabbing in his heart. I mean, it's just really all sad. But that was this segment. I thought it was actually kind of interesting. I just wanted to look at the drawings. Other than that, there was nothing else to really talk about there. So let's see what else we got here. Sam3 says, WWE creepy love stories. Yeah, I mean, the guy was stalking her, guys. I did feel bad for Dexter Lumis. Sorry that I felt bad for him last week, but at the same time, the guy was stalking her. He had his hands on her, and she didn't even know. Cyclops says, most women would be freaked out after seeing that room, but not our indie wrestling. Mama Candace is in the shambos. Alex Aguilera says, Beth knows firsthand what it's like to be in love with a violent psychopath. Of course, she supports Dexter. And Tam Zeed says, Dexter Lumis is becoming Otis 2.0 by having a love storyline. He desperately needed a character change and a promo. I don't mind the fact that they're adding this like romantic element to him. When they first started this Index love story, I was completely for it. I was digging it. It got a little boring the following weeks, but you know what? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I hated this segment tonight because I didn't. I didn't hate it. So I'll say that much. Oh, here we go. Would you rather the wrestling edition? We have a comment from Master Sidearms who says, so Dexter Lumis or The Fiend? Which one are you taking home to the parents? Well, The Fiend does more of that like supernatural creepy stuff, whereas Dexter Lumis is just quiet, but kind of stalkerish. And he kind of also seems like the jealous type. But then again, the Fiend kind of seems like he would turn me evil and then I would become crazy like Alexa Bliss. So I think I would rather have Dexter Lumis instead of the Fiend coming home to my parents, because at least I know that he's going to be loyal. I don't know. Oh, that's terrible thought process. Oh, God. Anyways, but I guess if you have to choose, I'd probably go with Dexter Lumis just because I don't want to be crazy like Alexa Bliss. All right. Let's see what else we got here. All right. This is a comment from Temzee, who's also saying that Dexter Lumis is way more interesting than the Fiend, sadly. Poor Fiend. Brandon says, Lumis is probably harmless. Master says, but Dexter never wears a shirt. Good point there. Who knows? Maybe my mom will be like, hey, what's up? Maybe my grandma or my aunts. Who knows? Maybe I should keep Dexter out. All right, guys, let's move on. So, BTW, guys, happy announcement. So, as you guys know, AEW Double or Nothing is taking place this weekend. Well, guess what? Yours truly, me, will be on Wrestling Observer Live this Friday. I will be on with Brian and Mike Sempervive doing AEW Double or Nothing predictions. As you guys know, usually ahead of the AEW pay-per-views, I hop on to Wrestling Observer Live for a quick segment where we all talk about our predictions. It's usually really fun and my moment to get on the show. So make sure you guys tune in to Wrestling Observer Live every day, but also specifically this Friday because I will be on. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that. That should be pretty fun. I always like coming on and doing my predictions. Whoa, I am sweaty. All right. Guys, it's hot here in Los Angeles and I have a million lights going. So I'm sweating a lot during this stream, but let's move on. We officially have the Franky Monet world premiere, officially her in-ring debut. So Franky Monet made her debut on NXT following WrestleMania, that Tuesday following WrestleMania, and she essentially interrupted Raquel Gonzalez. So that was her big moment. And then after that, we just started getting backstage scenes with her. We weren't really getting anything else with her, but they officially announced 2 weeks ago that today would be her official world premiere. So she had a match here with Cora Jade. This was a perfectly fine debut in-ring match. Franky Monet, aka or formerly known as Taya Valkyrie, looked absolutely incredible. I mean, she came in with this gorgeous robe, probably one of the most gorgeous robes I have seen. This match was fine. Obviously, it was more intended to be more of a squash match, really just intended to highlight Franky Monet as a wrestler. We saw several knees to the face. We saw Franky Monet give Cora Jade several knees to the face. We saw a spear from Franky to Cora. Franky went with a version of the Glam Slam. And honestly, all I have to say is I'm excited to see what they do with Franky Monet. I hope to see her and I do think that we'll see her as one of the top women on NXT shortly enough, but it does make me wonder why they waited so long to actually have her do her in-ring debut. I really wish that they would have done it a little bit sooner, but hey, maybe they had their reasons. Who knows what the reasons were, but I'm excited that she's out here. And what did you guys think of Franky Monet's in-ring debut? Okay, let's see. Patrick says that the crowd wasn't into it. I didn't really notice that. Brandon says Franky yells a lot in her match. I like that. I don't mind it. I actually really, really appreciate. I like when she starts yelling the fact that she's the Weta Loca. I'm totally into that. I love when she does that type of stuff. And Alex Aguilera says everyone donate Denise's stream so she can get an AC. I have an AC, but I don't know. I don't want that bill to come out so high, guys. John Cups, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. Says, sign me up for Franky Monet versus Io Shirai in a feud. Eventually, Monet versus Raquel Gonzalez on a pay-per-view main event. Hell yeah, for like a first feud with Io Shirai, I would totally be into that. And obviously, down the road, we got to see her versus Raquel Gonzalez. I'm totally cool with them not obviously doing it right now because she's just gotten there. She's just starting off. And so is Raquel as champion. So I'm cool with all of that. So get her a nice like feud going to help set her up and help build her up till she eventually gets to challenge Raquel Gonzalez. So, yeah, I liked all of that. And I'm trying to see what else you guys got here in terms of what you guys thought about all of this. All right. I think overall, thumbs up on what we got here for Wrestling Gamer says. Frankie says, I'm la güera loca. Wade Barrett says she's la luchadora. Like, dude, that's not even close. Was he translating when he said that? I thought he was just pointing out. I didn't realize that he was trying to translate. Oh, snap. All right. Well, there you go. Maybe because in my mind, I was like, well, obviously that's not what it translates to. So I didn't realize that he was trying to translate that. All righty. And let's move on, guys. All right. So next week. Oh, actually, I'm fast forwarding way too much here. I almost forgot about my favorite segment of the night. So I talked about my favorite match being Pete Dunne, Bobby Fish. Well, my official favorite segment of the night, not match of the night, but Bronson Reed celebration. Yes, I was a fan of this. I love this. BTW, hold the phone. Shout out to Felix GH3, who just became a YouTube member here on the 4W Online YouTube channel. Welcome to Felix. BTW, guys. You guys could become a member here on that 4W Online YouTube channel and get bonus exclusives. Lots of bonus clips and different stuff that are being added in addition to what you already see here on the YouTube channel. You can access all of that by becoming a YouTube member. Alrighty, so Bronson Reed's celebration. So he comes out and he talks about how it took him 14 years to get there. Says a lot of people told him no. There was a lot of falling, a lot of getting back up. He says, you know, if you work hard, you'll become a champion. You know, your typical, I just became a champion and I'm a babyface and this is how long it took me to get here promo, which was perfectly fine. I liked it. I was a fan of this. Then, my favorite part, Legado del Fantasma comes out and Santos Escobar, being the giant douche, comes out and mocks him by calling his promo a telenovela, which is a soap opera, and then pretends to cry. Oh, I bloody love this. He says he can't relate to what he has been through because unlike him, he was actually born a champion. And I loved this. I love this so much. I love Santos Escobar. Santos says the belt belongs to him. And all I got to say is, again, I love this promo. And so essentially, Legado del Fantasma surrounds Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed takes off the coat because he knows he's about to have to take on 3 guys as of this moment. And then before they even get the chance to step into the ring to even go towards Bronson Reed, he actually has friends, ladies and gentlemen. Bronson Reed has friends. We're always talking about the fact that babyfaces never seem to have any friends. He has friends. MSK came out and they essentially, scared them off, scared Legado del Fantasma off. I thought this was an awesome segment. And you want to know why? Because we had a clear-cut babyface in Bronson Reed. We had a clear-cut heel in Santos Escobar. We had a direction. Hold on. We had something new with Bronson Reed as champion, and then we had a direction in terms of this is his next challenger with Santos Escobar, and we have a goal. The goal here is Santos Escobar wants that belt, and Bronson Reed does not want to give him the belt. It's that simple. It was simple and effective, and I was a fan of this. We have a comment from Blake Blakely, who says, I loved Escobar saying that Canada is not a part of North America. I thought it was hilarious. Oh, me too. Me too. I love that as well. And let's see what else we got here. There's a comment from Alex who says, Santos is everything WWE has ever asked for in their next Latino star. Ticks every box. Great look. Tons of swagger. Awesome wrestler. Speaks fluent English. Great promo. You heard that. So keep him out of catering. Keep him out of catering. Santos Escobar is a star. So yeah, a good point here by Alex Aguilera. And I'm going to check to see if we have any more other comments in regards to this. And, okay, cool. So I did want to go ahead and announce some of the matches that, tell you guys some of the matches that were already promoted for next week. So we are getting a triple threat match. Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Johnny Gargano. The winner of that will be getting an NXT title shot. Then we have MSK versus Legado del Fantasma next week for the tag team title. So that should be good. Thankful that they promoted stuff. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and jump into the main event, everybody. So main event time, we had part 2 of Finn Bálor versus Karrion Kross here. So this is their second match for the title, obviously. And I'll be real with you guys. The start of this match, I wasn't really feeling it. I didn't really like the start of this match. I did end up liking it in the end. I thought the last couple of minutes to this match were very exciting, but it took me a long time for a match with these two guys that was so heavily promoted. It took me a long time to really get interested, to get invested in this actual match. So it was kind of dull from the top. And then they really quickly went into a commercial break, which really didn't help, because already it kind of set the tone for a match that didn't really feel hot right off the bat. And then also when they were doing the picture-in-picture, it was like they didn't know they were in picture-in-picture or something. They were wrestling it like nobody was there. They were wrestling this like a house show match. Like I get it. You're in picture-in-picture. No one really pays attention to that. But for those that do pay attention to it, it was not good. It was not good. But then we come back from commercial break, and obviously things start to pick up. We see Kross suplexing Finn like he's a rag doll. Then actually we go into a second commercial. Before the second commercial, though, we do get to see Finn essentially run and kick Kross's face to the point where it looks like it came off. Then we go into the second commercial. So we come back, and we see Karrion Kross ram Finn Bálor into the plexiglass. I thought this was a cool spot, except for Raquel already did that at the start of the show with Shotzi Blackheart. I do wish that somebody would have been like, hey, you know what? Don't do this. Raquel, don't do this, because we're going to have Karrion Kross do it later on in this big main event, or vice versa. Don't do this because blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously save it for the main event, but I really do think they should have saved that spot, especially because it did come across as impressive. But again, Raquel had already done it to Shotzi at the top of this. We get Finn putting a chokehold on Kross while kicking him in the stomach. I thought that was a pretty brutal spot there as well. Kross ended up winning this match with a choke. Finn Bálor didn't actually pass out, but the referee did call the match. So again, the last few minutes of this match were really, really fun. I do think, though, that I wish that we got to see more of Karrion Kross incorporate more of his MMA techniques into his match, because right now, I think that his in-ring work could use a little bit of something different. I feel like they're making him work like, your typical WWE big guy. And I feel like if they actually made him, incorporate some of, again, those MMA skills that he has, I think it would actually be a lot better. Again, whether it be his strikes or even his grappling, if he incorporated the MMA stuff into that, I think it would be good. Especially, I'm thinking too that the reason why they obviously don't want him to be grappling is because of his size. But at the same time, if he was, it would look a lot more impressive. So I do think there's still a lot more that they can improve upon with Karrion Kross. Especially given, again, that I thought that this match was not that great at the beginning. So there you guys go. Karrion Kross retains, and that is the end of NXT. So let's see what you guys are saying here. We have a comment from Andres Contreras, who says, what's next for Finn Bálor? Where does he go next? To Raw, to face Lashley for the title, or SmackDown to face Reigns for the title he never lost? So here's the thing about that, is that obviously we know right now that Raw isn't necessarily the greatest as of the moment. It's not the greatest. But then SmackDown right now is Roman Reigns' house. Like, Roman Reigns is doing the best work of his life there as of this moment. So I do think that if Finn Bálor is not, let's just say he's not going to stay in NXT as of right now, if he has to move on to something else, dude, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but bring them to Raw. Bring them to Raw because they need to turn that show around, especially with audiences coming back soon. We need a champion that people can really, really get behind of, or a feud that people can really get behind of. We need more. We need more happening on Raw. And I know that it's not the greatest every week, but just because it's not the greatest every week doesn't mean that they can actually, that they have to not even try to make it good. So even though I still have a lot of matches I would like to see Finn Balor in NXT, I do think that him going to Raw would be the right call in the sense of spicing Raw back up and making it more interesting. So for the sake of those that watch Raw every week, hopefully the show would get better. We have a super chat from Brandon Charles Powell who says, I wonder what's next for Adam Cole. Ideas, guys? I don't know what's next for Adam Cole. Right now, it kind of feels like they're connecting the pieces together with lots of people. Again, we talk about Finn Balor. We talk about Adam Cole, Karrion Kross. Obviously, they still have Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne. So they have a lot of guys that they can do a lot with. It's just of connecting everybody together now. Let's see what else we got here. I think we have a lot of people here suggesting or guessing that Finn might actually go to the main roster. Sorry, I'm reading some of these comments in regards to Raw. And Chris Cage wants to see Finn versus Adam Cole. Eric Hutchin says, I will say this. Finn should come back to Raw, but he needs to be built on Raw first before facing Lashley and getting the bout. Oh, yeah. And that would be easy. I mean, if they really wanted to, it would be an easy build to get Finn Balor facing Lashley. So, yeah, it would be easy, and I would want to see it. So I'd be there with all of that. Jason PS3 says, on Raw, they need to change more than bring Finn to Raw. Yeah, it's a 3-hour show. Finn ain't going to be on for all 3 hours. So you got a point, my friend. Definitely got a point. Although it could help. It could help, but it ain't going to take up those full 3 hours. That's for sure. And let's see if we got any more comments here, guys. BTW, I'm almost going to wrap up the show. Send in any last comments, questions, or statements, and I will read those before we wrap up. But friendly reminder, again, I will not be on this Wednesday. I will be on Friday. Friday, I will be talking about SmackDown and AEW on the exact same night. So make sure you guys come in for that, whether you guys watch live or the replay or the audio version. Doesn't matter as long as you guys tune in. And also, I will be on Wrestling Observer Live this Friday as well with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive doing AEW Double or Nothing predictions. And I will be on at AEW. I will be at AEW Double or Nothing covering the show, doing the media scrum. And then for those of you guys wondering when I'm going to do my post show. So as of right now, it's looking like I'm going to do my post show super late, not like I normally do, but I'm probably going to do it the following day once I return back to Los Angeles. So chances are my post show is probably going to be a couple of hours before Raw. I'm thinking 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I know is pretty late after the show, but that seemed like the best time to do it in. So if you guys want to join me for the AEW Double or Nothing post show the following day on Monday, then you guys can definitely come in for that. So again, this week's a little bit different just because I'm traveling to Florida and then traveling back to Los Angeles to do my work. Alrighty, let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna read some comments here. This one's from Patrick who says, pretty good show. I enjoyed the tag match. Grimes, LA Knights, Dunne Fish, the main event, all of that. Cool. Wrestling Gamer says, Denise, if I see you at Double or Nothing, can I get an autograph? Hell yeah. Come right up. I'll give you an autograph. Although I don't have really an autograph, but I have to practice now. Thanks. I'm going to practice now just in case. I will practice my autograph. Just for you. Just for you. I will practice my autograph. Let's see. Did I read this comment already? This one's from Eric who says, I would love for Karrion Kross to be made as this monster who does not lose the NXT title. I'd like to see him relinquish and head to SmackDown to face Roman. I like that picture. I think right now there still needs to be a lot more work done with Karrion Kross to get there, especially to go off onto SmackDown and face Roman Reigns. Sounds like a great idea, but there still needs to be a lot more work done on that end. And I think that's pretty much about it, guys. All righty. So there you guys go. That was NXT tonight. Thank you so much for everyone who joined the show. If you're listening to the audio version of this, please do not forget to come on over to YouTube at some point whenever you have time. come on over and make sure you guys subscribe to F4W Online over on YouTube. If you're already here watching on YouTube live or on the replay, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like, leave a comment so that it helps rank higher. Hold the phone, ladies and gentlemen. We got a giant super chat that I need to read. This will be the last one of the day. Thank you so much to Christopher Marino, who says, I thought it was a good, solid show. Each match led to something, whether it's for a new feud, debut, or the end of a feud. Didn't have to copy and paste like Raw. Even the women's tag match seems to be leading to a bigger feud. I think this is probably the best way to wrap up the stream because Christopher Marino, for the most part, definitely on point here. I have to agree with it. The entire show, as we talked about earlier today, really everything led to something, or we at least have a general idea of where we're headed. They announced matches for next week. We know where we're going. I like this road. And I do think that for a lot of people that maybe haven't given NXT a chance since they moved to Tuesdays, definitely give it a chance. It's a fun show to watch, and all of this. So shout out. Thank you so much to Christopher Marino for sending in this super giant super chat. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, take care, everyone. Have an awesome night. And do not forget, I will see you on Friday, Wrestling Observer Live, and on Speak Now Pro Wrestling Friday night. All right, guys. Bye, everyone. Take care.